Hey, good morning. So let me introduce myself. I am Dave Plouffe, and I am a training specialist at the Navy Leadership and Ethics Center at the U.S. Naval War College. And I'm also an adjunct professor for Goodwin College. And I am also a faculty evaluator for the American Council on Education and for the uh, division, another accrediting body, okay, distance education accreditation body. I think that's what they're called. So, anyways, I was asked to tell a little bit about myself and how I got here and what my daily activities are. So, I'll start off a long time ago, right? I'm a Navy veteran. I did 20 years in the Navy submarine force as a sonar technician. And I joined when I was 17. I was still in high school, and I was not a very good student in high school. I was not. Didn't pay attention very well, and anyways, it is what it is. So for 20 years, I was a sonar technician on submarines. I made 14 deployments. Uh, I did tours as an instructor for shore duty, which I really enjoyed. I really liked teaching. And so, what does a sonar technician do? Right? As a sonar technician, we sonar techs listen. They are the eyes and ears of a submarine, and they can hear. We hear ships, and we can tell the difference on types of ships by the noise they make and the frequencies they put out. So, for instance, think about this, right? The ocean is like the atmosphere. It's a big environment. There is fronts, there are eddies, there are currents. Sound travels, it bounces off the bottom, it bounces off the top of the ocean. And so imagine if you are standing on the median in a highway, you can tell the difference between a VW Beetle Bug and an 18 wheeler. Sonar techs can do that with ships. We listen and we can hear a merchant ship. It sounds like that, right? And we can hear a smaller boat. Sounds like that. We get used to it. We can also detect frequency. So, for instance, fluorescent lights, right? I'm looking up. We're looking up. Fluorescent lights, they put out a 60 hertz hum, right? Sometimes you can hear it. You're like, what is that? 60 hertz is the electronic bus that the United States uses for electricity. Well, if you've ever been to Europe, you'll notice the plugs are different because they use 50 hertz. So by listening and detecting frequencies, I can tell if I see 60 hertz or harmonics of 60 hertz, it's US. If it's 50, it's European. So that's a little rundown of what sonar techs do. Well, anyways, while I was in the Navy, I was fortunate enough, and I earned two bachelor's degrees and my master's degree. I didn't have time to go to traditional college. I did for my two undergrad degrees. One's in business administration from Excelsior, and the other one is in history from Thomas Edison. I did self study where I did CLEP exams, I did DSST exams. Uh, that's how I had to do it. Being on a submarine, and I didn't have internet connectivity, so I couldn't take online courses. So I would get the study material, the books. I would write papers, submit it to a school, take the tests, and that's how I got two undergrad degrees. My master's degree, which is from the University of Oklahoma, I also got while I was in uniform. And that was through this program called NC PACE, which stands for Navy College Program Afloat Colleges. And I was lucky to be their first graduate. And the way this program worked is they would hand out CD-ROMs and with all of the course material, maybe some video lectures, and then I would submit papers to professors in Oklahoma. They would grade it and say, "Yeah, this is good," and or "This is not good." As a matter of fact, there it is, University of Oklahoma. So when I got out of the Navy in 2006, so then yes, I had two bachelor's degrees and a master's. I then pursued my PhD from North Central University in education. This is using my GI Bill as a civilian, anyways, I got a job working for the Coast Guard, so I lost my study group. And anyways, I got a graduate certificate in education from that point. Then I used a little bit of tuition assistance and I got a graduate certificate in Homeland Security because I was with the Coast Guard. Now I'm over at the War College and I'm finishing up another master's from the War College, and that is in Defense and Strategic Studies. So my day, what do I do now? I am a training specialist at the Leadership and Ethics Center. The Leadership and Ethics Center, we teach from E1 junior enlisted all the way up to major commanders, 06s. And we teach courses in all facets of leadership and ethics. My actual position description says that 40% of my time is on the podium teaching, 40% of my time is in curriculum development, and the other 20% is miscellaneous. Now, sometimes that miscellaneous block grows depending on the whims of the political wind of the day, I guess you could say. So what do I teach, right? So I teach the department head course, which is '03, and that is a 1 week long course. And so lieutenants come to us before they report as department heads. This is for all Navy, so we're talking thousands of people. My average class size is about 30 people, and I teach a lot of the academic stuff. I teach day one, for instance, would be Myers-Briggs, which you were exposed to in your pipeline. And I teach Myers-Briggs step 1 and step 2. I teach behaviors and facets. I teach ethical foundation, ethical decision making. The profession of arms, what makes a profession versus a bureaucracy, how to build trust. So those are the topics that I teach, and I also do a lot of guest lecturing. Like at the end of this month, I got asked to present in San Diego at the Female Aviators Conference on DISC behavioral theory and unconscious bias. So unconscious bias, now that goes into the other 40% of my PD on curriculum design that uh, right now I'm building a topic on unconscious bias awareness, and that is going to be added to all of our curriculum from E1 to '06 levels. So the major commanders will get a more advanced, how does unconscious bias affect your decision making, and how can you shape culture for bias awareness, where a junior enlisted would be concerned with their unconscious bias and how they are displaying it. So that's a little bit about what I do. I also write some instructions. I uh, miscellaneous stuff, lots of meetings, yeah, that's what I do, and that's how I got here. As an adjunct for Goodwin, my job is I do videos, I develop curriculum. That's how I started at Goodwin. Is I started developing some courses for them, and then I teach. So yeah, that's me. Okay, so I hope this helps you, on your path. Okay, good deal. Thanks, Dave out.